Happy Sunday. That deep breath, that sigh was just like, okay, here we go. 200 points if you know what movie that came from. Let's see. So welcome to Amayou, and Uncut, my relationship edition. Hey cousin. I kind of felt the need to do this video because I did introduce you all to my now ex-boyfriend, Chris. Hey, John. So I'm going to get right into, actually before I get into like what happened and all that good stuff, I kind of want to backtrack and kind of just let you all know where my mind was when I, was introduced to him and just kind of how I was brought up and everything. So for those of you who don't know, I was brought up in a very strict Christian household. Not going to get into all the details, but we were Pentecostal, and I didn't like have boyfriends and stuff like that growing up, and I knew for sure I wanted to marry someone in the church, not necessarily a pastor or nothing like that. I'm good on that. But someone that was active in the church, just like I was. So that was kind of my mindset just growing up. It's kind of what my parents drilled into me, and just, how I thought everything was going to be. So time ticks on, and you live life. You learn, you evolve as a human being. I know very vividly remembering, I remember just, being in church, and the guys in the church, they would pop up with they pregnant, fiance, girlfriend, wife, baby mama, what, so we were being taught one thing, but the reality was another thing. So, of course they were teaching abstinence, all this other good stuff. But it's just okay, this is what we're supposed to do, but this is not what's happening, and I'm supposed to be with one of these guys that's in the church. It was just a whole, total, mind screw, as I got older, and I was just realizing that things weren't the way I thought they were going to be. So like I said, live life. I ended up leaving that particular church. I still believe in God. I'm still a believer, but I knew that for me, something just was not right about how I felt with my relationship with God. Hey, John. Hey, Robert. Hey, Lundy. And so I guess a lot of people are joining, so I may have to stop saying hey to everybody, but I like to say hey to y'all. So just, with time progressing, like I said, I left that particular church, and I just, would end up going to another church, and I was just this is different. And actually, when I went to the other church, it was shortly after my parents' divorce. So if anyone doesn't know, which I don't know who that would be, but if anyone doesn't know, my parents got divorced after being married for 35 years. So that kind of threw me for a loop too. So there was a lot kind of going on at that time. Just, as far as me leaving my old church and going to a new church, and just, excuse me, just everything I was experiencing as far as relationships goes. Yeah. So I personally haven't had a lot of long-term relationships, because if I felt like a guy was not husband material, I was next. That's what I did. Whether it was 1 day, 2 day, 5 days, whatever. So I didn't have a lot of experience in long-term relationships, because I felt like my long-term relationship was going to be my husband. That's just how I thought it was going to be. Time ticks on, meet people, and I just kind of decided that, I would take the fact that I felt like my husband or my future husband had to be in the church, I would take that off the table. And the reason I decided to take that off the table is because I felt like, hey, Francina, I don't know if I said hey, Brandy, was because, this is going to sound really bad, but my experience with men that were in the church. And for me, I know that I don't have to have either or, but if it came down to either or, I felt like I would rather have a loyal man that's not in the church than someone who's in the church, but they're not loyal to me, or they're cheating on me or whatever. So I was like, okay, I don't know if I verbally said I was going to take that off the table, but in my head, I was just okay, I'm not going to be as strict on that particular thing. So just dating, meeting guys, yada, yada, yada. And I met my now ex-boyfriend. And I feel like, how can I put this? Because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. Like, he knew that I was a Christian, well, am a Christian. And matter of fact, when we went out to eat, like, I was like, I'm going to go ahead and pray. Oh, cool. No biggie. He'd be quiet and bow his head when I prayed. Like, it was not a big deal. When I first met him, we went on 3 dates, like back to back. The first day I met him, we planned the date for the next day or something like that. It was like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, something like that. So, he kind of like swept me off my feet because, hey, like, you have someone who knows what they want. They know that thing that they want is you, and they're pursuing you. It's like the things that women typically ask for. Like, I want somebody to come for me, and he was coming for you, girl, okay? So it kind of like swept me off my feet, and I was just like, wow. And we kind of had the conversation about spirituality, but we didn't dive deep, and I can take the L on that. That was probably my fault. So later on, when we were talking, I was just like, wait, are you agnostic? Are you atheist? What's going? I thought he was more so leaning towards agnostic, which, from my understanding, agnostics do believe in a higher power, but they don't necessarily know what that thing is, that higher power. And I was like, okay, that's not a big deal. But as he and I continued our relationship and got to know each other, and everything progressed pretty quickly, it came out more so that even though he doesn't identify that way, is an atheist. And for me, like, knowing that I want to have children and I want to impart that on them, and to have someone that would not want me to impart that or would feel like that's a negative, that was a conflict for us. So that came up, and ultimately, and we had some disagreements about it. Hey, Fanny. Ultimately, he said that that's the reason why he broke up with me. He broke up with me. I didn't break up with him. He was like, I feel like you deserve to be with someone that you have spirituality in common with because it is so important to you. So we broke up. This was like shortly after our 6 months, going on 7 months of being together, which for me was a long time because, like I said previously, if I felt like you wasn't there after a date or two, next. And so, I was totally in love with him, and I thought that we were going to get married, and I was going to have his children, and we were going to have this wonderful life. And even though it wouldn't be perfect, it would be good, and it would be ours, and it would be together. And I think that's what a lot of people want. We want someone to like hold our hand through this thing called life, and to experience the good and the bad and all that good stuff. So yeah, so that was really tough for me. Full transparency, like, I got really depressed for a while, and I was suicidal. I hadn't attempted to kill myself, but I wasn't feeling like myself, and that, like, just dealing with that alone was, like, for me, the worst. I was like, I'd rather die than feel like this. And I don't want to put all of that on the relationship, but just not, like, I got it. Because I've been sad before. I, kind of like, I don't want to be here before. I've said that. Like, I felt that way. But not feeling like myself and having to still live and function and for it to carry on for days and weeks was just like, I don't want to do, like, what do I have that I could just, like, be done with this? So, so I talked to my therapist, because I do have one from the military. Even though, like, she's from me being in the Air Force, she's not, like, a personal, I don't know how you would even, like, describe it. I did talk to her because I guess it was God, obviously. But she was, like, following up with me on something else because I called. I did call. I called and was just like, hey, I think maybe we should go ahead and have a session. She's like, what? And they have this thing. They have to say, like, have you thought about harming yourself? I was like, do you want the truth? And, I told her the truth, and we ended up having 2 sessions. And the crazy thing about it is after the session, I did not feel like, problem solved. I feel great. I kind of felt like a little bit worse, like, obviously, you're not going to help me. Like, not that she could solve all my problems, but I just was like, okay, either I'm going to fix this or that's going to be it. So left out of there, had a follow-up meeting. I had 2 meetings with her. One was on the phone, and then one was the second one was in person. And I was just like, if I'm going to be here, if I'm still going to be alive, I'm going to just have the best effing life ever. So that's when I decided, let me just get my life together, get my joy back, pray, all these things. Because I'd prayed before, and, you know, ultimately, I guess you can say that, you know, God brought me out of this. But I didn't have, like, this moment where it was like, oh, Lord, Amayou, don't do this. You need to live. Like, I didn't feel like that. I was just like, you know what? I got this. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to live. I'm going to have a great life and remain hopeful. Because something that, you know, guys in general don't ever, like, have to think about is time and wanting to have children. And as a woman, like, even though I believe I can have children at any age, or, you know, even though I believe in the supernatural, every day, every 6 months that goes by, like, you're realizing that you could possibly have a lesser and lesser and lesser chance of having children if that's something that you want. So I was just like, you know, bump this, I'm going to live my best life. So I decided, hey, I'm going to continue living, and I'm going to, you know, just make this life good. If I'm going to be here, I might as well have a good life. So that's pretty much what I've been on. So that's why I'm like, let me get my vision board together. Let me just focus. Let me just get my life together, because if I'm going to be here, I might as well have a freaking awesome life. It's like mediocre right now. I'm working on that. But as you can see, my raw, real, and uncuts are back, which, you know, some people might think is a small thing. But for me, it's big, because I want to be able to have content out there, and, you know, hopefully it'll help someone. And also, you know, my acting. I do have a play coming up that I'm going to be in. A small role, but a role nonetheless. And it feels good to just be doing things that, you know, that make me happy and that I can focus on. So if anyone has any questions for me, just only like 5 people out here, feel free to ask them. I will answer them. If it's something I feel like I can't answer because it's something that he should, then, you know, I guess we just won't ever know. But I just wanted to let people know, because I did, you know, bring him on my live like twice, I think, and people did see him and they know about it. They knew about him. So for him to just disappear and then all the posts just disappear, y'all know the social media cleanup that, you know, people have to do. And I was one that would never, like, post someone on social media. So whether I was dating or whatever, I would never do that. So the fact that I did that with him, I felt like I need to let you guys know what happened, if you care, just to kind of get it out there and let you know. So if anyone has any questions, you can ask me. I will answer them. If not, then this will probably be the shortest live ever. Where is EJ? Where's my friend? Hold on. Let me see if EJ is around, because she always comes on him. Oh, here. I see your question. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to invite EJ. I'm late inviting her. I done went through the whole thing. Will we remain friends? Any bitterness towards him? I do not have any bitterness towards him. I have told him that I felt like he wasn't really as forthcoming as I felt like he could have been about, you know, his spirituality. But I understand that people don't always want to be defined by a certain box or whatever. But yeah, no bitterness towards him. I'm the kind of person who's, like, friends with my exes. But he didn't want that. So he's not on my friends list. So he probably won't see this or anything like that. But I at this point, I could be his friend. And I could give him a call. Like, I have his number. But the last time I talked to him, I kind of got the feeling that maybe he didn't want to talk. Because I'm sure he has to deal with this breakup in his own way. Because I don't know everything that was in his head. But I know at one point we thought we were going to be together forever. So, hey, Robert. So, yeah, that's just me. Like, I'm just like, I love everybody. Like, once, like, I don't want to, like, choke you, then we're good. Like, after that, we're good. We can be friends whenever. But yeah, I do, like, think about the decisions and things that I did during that relationship. And, you know, what could have been better, what could have, you know, what could have been improved, all that good stuff. So yeah, that's it. Also, like, for some reason, just because someone else brought this up. So someone on my Instagram, I don't know if y'all follow me on Instagram, Amayou82. Thank you, Kalila. Yeah, I'm glad I'm still here too. I'm like, and plus, like, I need to get my commercial. I don't know what commercial it's gonna be, but I need to get that. So I got work to do. But yeah, someone on my Instagram, he was saying, "Oh, you dating white boys now or something?" I'm like, first of all, because you know I had to do. First of all, I've been dating whoever, white, black, Hispanic. I don't think I've ever dated an Asian, but I'm open to that. Just FYI. But I guess he saw me doing the hashtag swirl or whatever. And for me personally, in case you don't know, my ex-boyfriend was Italian and Spanish. But in case you didn't know, I do not like care about a person's race as far as that's concerned. Like, as long as you love me and respect me and treat me right and love God, apparently, I gotta put that back in there. Then we can, get through anything. You know what I'm saying? That's why I also wanted to talk about core needs. So April does talk about something where having to deal with the core needs of the individual. And the one thing that I always had at the top of my list was spirituality. Like, we needed to be spiritually on the same page. And I did, what's the word? I don't want to say I took that off my list, but I did compromise that for him. I knew that we would not be able to have that, but I felt like maybe everything else that we had would be enough. Obviously it wasn't. Here we are. Oh, my cousin's here. She said, if your person is out there, he will find you living your best life. Oh, honey, I'm always living my best life. Catch this little piece of this little curl right here. It's my best life curl. Anyway. But yeah, so anyway, so April talks about, your core needs and identifying those. And like I said, that was always like my number one core need that I felt like I needed. And I did compromise that being in the relationship with him. And here we are. So obviously that's something that I need. And even though I wasn't strong enough to be like, I can't be with you because of this, he had to be strong enough for the both of us, because at one point in time, like, I was committed. I was like, I'm going to marry this guy, period. I love him. I want to have his children. We're going to work this out. Like, that's how I felt, 100%. And I wasn't going to break up with him, and he knew that. So he had to break up with me in order for us to not be together, for me to get the person that I need to be able to have that spiritual connection with, amongst, the other core needs that, different people have. Like, one of mine, of course, is spirituality. Physical attraction, that's easy to me, even though I'm not really attracted to that many people. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Compatibility, intellectual stimulation, stability, all that good stuff, and loyalty, definitely. So those are my core needs. And so I'll make sure the next guy has y'all hear that sigh? I can't hide the sigh. The sigh comes out. The sigh tells the truth. Okay? But yeah, so here we are, still happy, healthy, and try to live our best life, honey. Let me drop 10 more pounds and she really gonna be out here. So that's it. This has been Amayou Robertson. Okay, if anybody has any questions, let me know. Put them on here so we can just get to it. If not, don't ask me nothing later. Don't come in the inbox. Well, you can come in the inbox. But that's it. I just wanted to get that out there so people know what's going on. Hey, Ronnie. So I am single as a dollar bill right now. So if somebody looking, tell them I said hey. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got, y'all. Hope you all have a wonderful Sunday. I have to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning tomorrow, so I'm not going to be hanging out late tonight. I probably won't watch Fear the Walking Dead until tomorrow. I will be doing my weekly movie review. Hey, Nana, love you. Hey, Ronnie. I will be doing my weekly movie review probably after this. And let me tell you what it's going to be about. The Dead Don't Die, and I'm disappointed. And I'm just going to leave it at that until I come right back on with my weekly movie review. So this has been Amayou Robertson Uncut, and I will see you next week. Bye.